Whatever. Could be a lot better.
Hay que esperar a que se levante. No. Me dijo que ahora me parece aquí. No parecía.
Gonna wash here. Gonna wash.
Look at this.
Yeah, to spread out. Right. Right.
I think you have a stick. Run.
Tienen que tener así.
Chaim. First of all, we're honored that Rabbi Rosenfeld is joining us. Our little community over here has the honor of such a great rabbi. Okay, so first of all, we all live in Florida. Many of us live here for many years. Florida is one of the places where you can live within just a couple of miles of another rabbi, another shul, another community. And you can live there for decades and never get.
Ahí le digo.
So I don't really come by this area too often, but it's nice to see a private community, a school, and so on. So I'll try not to be I'll cut the straight. Yud Shevat is a big yom. And I'm sure people when they start talking about this history, they think this, whatever young is. You could also start off by saying it's a big young. And they're all obvious young. They're all obvious young. You don't have to say too much. They did. But there were certain Yom Tov, there were certain auspicious days that people celebrate in different ways, and they take it more serious, less serious. They do different things on that day, learn different things to prepare for that day, and everybody has whatever resonates with them, whatever talks to them, whatever they feel, whatever I feel. And the truth is, every Yom Tov should be taken seriously, and every Yom Tov, I say Yom Tov, auspicious day, special day, Hasidic special day. So, but there's something about Yud Shevat, and it's explained in this that when you come up to a Yom Tov, Pesach, Sukkot, Rosh Hashanah, that's what's now center stage. That's what's right in front of your eyes. So that's the most important Yom. So if we're coming up to Pesach is the most important Yom. When you're coming up to Shavuot, that's the most important Yom. So if today was Yud Kislev, we'd be talking heavily about Yud Kislev. But right now we're focused on Yud Shevat. So in 1987, 1987, the 11th day of Tevet. That means 30 days ago. 30 days ago, 35 years ago. 35 years and 30 days ago. The Rebbe spoke a secret. This was not a Farbrengen, it was a secret. Okay? 30 years ago, 35 years ago, and 30 days ago, the Rebbe spoke after the service, after my. And this was right after the celebration of the recovery of the books that were stolen. I'm sure everybody heard all about that. So this was right after the 7 days of celebration of the recovery of the books. So 7 days after the celebration, or the 7th day of the celebration, turned out to be 30 days before Yud Shevat. And the Rebbe spoke, and he said that we're 30 days before Yud Shevat, and everybody has to prepare for Yud Shevat. And we all knew before that day that in general you prepare for a holiday. Shabbos, you prepare for Thursday, you buy stuff, you cook stuff. Pesach, we prepare weeks in advance. Hanukkah, you prepare. A spiritual holiday, you try, you just get some whatever. We prepare, we study, we meditate, we get ready. So, but the Rebbe added some emphasis. Number one, it's 30 days before we have to prepare. Number two, every 10 days in the school, in all the schools, every 10 days, that means 3 times, they have to make tests. They have to test the boys, test the girls. And the Rebbe wants every single grade on his desk. That means that all the boys in yeshiva, the girls in school, when they took a test, and whatever the grade was, the Rebbe is going to see the result. And the Rebbe added that anybody, and married people don't go to school, but married people have a mentor. They have a rabbi or a mentor that they talk to. So they have to tell their mentor what they're doing to prepare for Yud Shevat, and that information has to be put on my desk. I want that information. So that means any person who does not send in if I don't get their name on my desk, that means they're not taking Yud Shevat seriously. So every single person who takes Yud Shevat seriously, in some form or fashion, you're going to prepare, and you're going to make sure that whatever you're doing to prepare is going to end up on my desk. So when you hear these words, I was listening to the Sikha recently. We heard it originally in 1980, but much younger, much wilder. And then you hear it again when you're a little older, hopefully a little more mature. And when the Rebbe says, if your name don't, okay, the name in front of the Rebbe is one level, but we have to do something to prepare. Everybody should do something on your level. Some people can study a lot, some people can study a little, some people can have it a little better, everybody can do something. So when you hear words like this, your hair stands up. When you hear words like this, now you know. Remember, this is 1987. The original Yud Shevat was 1950. So it's 37 years. Whoa. It's 37 years. 37 years after the original Yud Shevat. And now it's 35 years later. So we're coming in. Actually, it's over 50 years. It's over 60 years. 62 years ago was Yud Shevat. Yeah, the original. 72, 71, right there. 72 from Yud Shevat, 71 from the Rebbe. So we're now So 70, over 70 years. And the Rebbe told us about preparation. So the Rebbe didn't have to tell us every year or every holiday about preparation. If the Rebbe said it once, now we know forever that before a holiday comes, we have to prepare. When the Rebbe put such a strong emphasis on Yud Shevat, so now we know how powerful Yud Shevat is. Yud Shevat also has a unique quality that no other Hasidic holiday has. And that is that every year there's a mimer, a discourse that the Rebbe will say based on the original mimer that the previous Rebbe. The previous Rebbe gave a mimer. It was supposed to be broken up into 4 different times, but ultimately he passed away right before that happened.
Servir a los chicos y después pasar, ¿sí?
One long discourse of 20 chapters, and every single year on Yud Shevat, starting from 1951, the Rebbe would say, explain one of the chapters. So for 20 years, from 1951 to 1970, the Rebbe went through it once. From 1971 back all the way till 1990, even though 88, 89, 90 was more written than it was said. But for 40 years, the Rebbe repeated and expounded every year a chapter of the Bible. So every year on Yud Shevat, there was a focus. There was a unique focus on that, on what we have to do to prepare for Yud Shevat. This year is 1982 and 1950. This year is chapter 12. So the Rebbe spoke chapter 12 in 62 and in 80. So we were gifted Rebbe what the focus is for the holidays. For the holidays. All of the Yom David, there's a general focus. But when it comes to Yud Shevat, we have a specific mission, a specific thing to focus on, a specific thing to how to prepare for this year's occasion. I don't know how deep, superficial, expensive I can get, but with that, you speak and hopefully we hear. Huh?
Y pasarlo si lo traes. Hay que pasarlo para. ¿Eh? ¿Te serviste? ¿Te serviste?
So, Rebbe, it's Yud Shevat. And Yud Shevat, there's a crux, there's a theme, there's a main point, and it's broken up into 20 chapters, and then it's broken up into 40 years. But there's a main point. And the main point is that we have to take a dark world and turn it into a light world. We have to take a bitter world and we have to turn it into a sweet world. And the ultimate light and the ultimate sweet is what we share from. But it's in our hands. And this was the mission that the Rebbe gave us in 1951. One of the first things that Rebbe said was that he's going to struggle with us. He's going to butcher it with us but the Rebbe and us together, we're going to bring Mashiach. This is the crux of Basi Lagan. So when we were told by the Rebbe that he's partnering with us, so to speak, to bring Mashiach. So obviously, at that moment, he gave everybody the strength to be able to be his partner. The Rebbe gave us the gift to be his partner to bring Mashiach. So instead of squandering that gift, it's all from the Rebbe. It's all from above. The more we tune into this gift, the more strength we're given. So I'm just going to take a break here and tell you a story. I just want to illustrate. I just want to illustrate. I just want to illustrate. We all know the Rebbe, we all hear about the Rebbe, we all follow the Rebbe, we all respect the Rebbe. But every once in a while we have to have an illustration. That when the Rebbe tells us something, the Rebbe tells us something, that's the way it is. So there's a story with the Rebbe that somebody, this biggest Jew or whatever, a prominent Jew in the earlier years went for a private audience with the Rebbe. And the way it worked when you went to private audience with the Rebbe, you wrote down what your issues are or what the questions are. You wrote it. You didn't come in and speak. It ever read your paper and it gave you answers. First of all, it made it faster. Second of all, this way you don't have to stammer, get nervous. You wrote everything down. The Rebbe sees knows what you want. So somebody comes in and he didn't have a paper. I guess nobody told him. Nobody told him the rules. So the Rebbe told him that it's customary to write a paper and give it and hand it over. So he said, I didn't know. So do you mind if I go out and try to grab a pen and a paper? So the Rebbe said, no, I don't. So he said, do you mind if I go outside? So he went outside and he asked the person standing online, do you have a pen and a paper? So the guy looks at it and says, what do you mean? He said, I asked the Rebbe. He said, you think the Rebbe doesn't have a pen and paper? You don't know how things work around here? Let me tell you, what do you here for? What do you want to ask the Rebbe? So he said that I'm looking for a shidduch. I'm looking for a boy for my daughter. So the guy said, I'm here looking for a girl for my son. And they spoke for a little bit, and those two ended up getting married. So, you don't think that Rebbe, of course they never had a pen paper, but the Rebbe knew how this whole thing has to work out, and he made sure that this guy goes to talk to that guy. This is like a little tiny example of how the Lubavitcher Rebbe operates. So when the Rebbe looks at you, when I look at you, when a person looks at you, they see the face and the clothing. When the Rebbe looks at you, he sees a neshama. So when the Rebbe tells us how to prepare for a yontif, he's not telling us how to prepare because he read it in a book somewhere. He's giving us a prescription. He's telling us what is best for your neshama, how your neshama will function at full throttle. So that's in general. Every day we have to function at full throttle. Every day we daven. Every day we study. But when it comes to Yud Shevat, we take it to a whole new level. Now then there's another thing. We had Chassidus was founded by the Rebbe. It was continued by the Mag, and by the Alter Rebbe and all the Rabbeim until the Rebbe. What's the difference between the Alter Rebbe and the Rebbe? What's the difference between the Rebbe and the Rebbe? So the elevator answer is that all Rabbeim, what is it? It's one continuation, one continue. Is it evidence? Is it success? Is it evidence? Is it success?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the truth is, the way it works is that as you know, originally you were not allowed to record Torah. You were not allowed to record, right? You're not allowed to write the Torah. But as time went on, and they saw, because of the mistakes or whatever, but as time went on, the sages saw that people are forgetting Torah, and if they don't write it down, eventually God forbid it gets lost. And that's how we got the Mishnah, the Gemara, and so on. But originally, everybody studied verbal. It was all memory, verbal and memory. So they didn't have it in writing. But once the sages of a certain generation realized that we're going to be in trouble, they saw already that trouble was brewing. So they instituted that we have to start writing. We have no choice. So as time goes on, unfortunately, things change. So before the Baal Shem Tov, the only Hasidus or the only hidden parts of the Torah were restricted to people who were Kabbalists. There was the Arizal, there were Kabbalists. But these were few and far, nobody really knew, and they didn't spread what they knew. It was only spoken in private conversation. It wasn't widespread. But then suddenly the world got spectacularly darker, and the world needed an overwhelming amount of light. So the Baal Shem Tov painted a picture. The Baal Shem Tov arrived, and he started explaining the beauty and the greatness, the grandness of every Jew. Nobody knew this before. Everybody thought there's the Jew that goes into the cattle class, there's the Jew that goes into the regular class, and then there's business class and first class. The Baal Shem Tov revealed that every Jew is first class. We don't know what looks like we're first class, we don't know what acts like we're first class, but we're all first class. We all have a godly soul, and we all are first class. And then all the Rebbes are following that. We went to the same room. So every Rebbe revealed every Rebbe revealed to the world. Every Rebbe revealed another aspect of God, another aspect of how to connect to God, another aspect on God's existence and revelation in the world. So let me make it very short. It's a word that's used very often. We say that people will say it a lot, but most people have no clue what they're talking about. When I say most people, I'm not only talking about sympathy or cattle class, I'm talking about first. Most people. So, the word is oxygen. People learn oxygen, say oxygen, see oxygen, the book, see it, say it. Most people do not. We know the translation. The translation is the essence of God. What does that mean? So most people will say it, they'll repeat it, they'll teach it, but they don't know what they're talking about. You know why they don't know what they're talking about? Because ultimately or essentially, you cannot know what oxygen means. What is the essence of God? We don't even know the lowest level of God. How could you possibly know what the essence of God is? And it's explained in other places. The only way to know what the essence of God is by rejection. I know what it's not. God is not this. God is not that. God is not. So now I know what God isn't. But I'll never know what God is. And this is something we study over and over throughout the Siddur. And when you learn Chassidus from the Alter Rebbe, the first Rebbe, then you learn from the next, the middle Rebbe, and so on. You have to have a perception, you have to have a good teacher. You'll see that each Rebbe reveals another part, another expression of God, how God expresses himself in this world. The Rebbe used to tell a lot of stories, and many times the Rebbe would say that the previous Rebbe told me a story or told me something, and he asked me not to repeat. But the previous Rebbe knew that I always repeat it. So the fact that he's telling me, he knew it's going to be repeated. Why? Why would the Rebbe do that? Why would the Rebbe do that? Because the Rebbe wants us to know everything. The Rebbe wants to share everything with us. Whatever is available, give it to them. So when you see the difference between the previous 6 Rebbes, the way they taught Hasidus, what they quote unquote revealed to us, and then you see what the Rebbe revealed to us, you see that Rebbe wanted us to know everything. Whatever is possible to know, the Rebbe wanted to tell us. Yes. And in the room, there were hundreds or thousands of people. Obviously, many different levels of intellect. It doesn't matter. Everybody, it's available for everybody. Everybody's going to understand it differently. Everybody's going to receive it differently. Everybody's going to absorb it differently. But this is available for everybody. So the Rebbe took this concept. The Rebbe took this concept and he tried, or he did. He brought the essence of God. Now I know why you didn't understand. He took us. I'll give you the word. He took Atzmus, the essence of God, cattle class, and he literally brought it down to this world. Atzmus is here. All the other Rebbes, there's a reflection, there's an image, there's a photocopy, there's a fax, it's here, but it's not. The Rebbe took Atzmus and he brought it into this world. No other Rebbe did this. The previous Rebbe used certain words. The Alter Rebbe in Tanya also used certain words. But they didn't take the mass of Atzmus, whatever this existence of whatever Atzmus is. It exists. The Rebbe brought Atzmus to this world. The essence of God. What is what's out? Okay, so let me. Good question. I don't know if I have an answer, but good question. I'll try. Okay. You guys learned special this year. You learned my Mara. You learned stuff. No stuff. We learned stuff. You ever heard of our insight? Infinite life. You ever heard of infinite life? Our insight? Okay. Our insight is probably mentioned in practically every minor. The word our insight is usually in every single one. That's the general description of God, the infinite life. But then there's another description that's not mentioned very often, and that's called our insight. There's no beginning. We always say there's no end to God. But then there's another description that's called Ein Lo Tchila, there's no beginning. What does that mean? He never was. But when you say he's a one second. Good stuff. If I want to give you the greatest impact of telling you what God is, if I say Ein Sof, there's no end, that's a beautiful, incredible description. But it's not the best description. When you say there was no beginning, now you're talking, that's a better impact. Why? Because otherwise you could say, I mean, it also doesn't make sense, but still, you could say something created God. You could, you won't, you could. But when you say there's no beginning, that means God is absolute. Minor terminology. It's called Mechoyev HaMetzias. He must be. He must always be. He always was. There was no beginning. So now what God can do is, what he does, God creates light, a light which creates the world. So that light is called the infinite light, the light that has no end. But do you say that it has no beginning? No, because it came from God. So it has a beginning. God created it before it wasn't here. Now it's here. So it has no end, but it doesn't. But it has a beginning. So you can't say no beginning to this life. That's what we heard. This is what we heard from all the Rebbes in all the Maimers. Ein Lo Tchila. No beginning is the essence of God, but all the lights and all the creations and everything, that's called Ein Sof, no end. Comes Tafsir Chafei. You have to have a Tafsir Chafei fetish. Comes Tafsir Chafei. 1962, Yud Shevat, and the Rebbe did something that was never done since God created the world. By the way, speaking about the Rebbe, if people would study the Torah from the Rebbe, you give it the time you should. If people would study the Torah of the Rebbe properly, you would quit your day job, and that's what you do all the time. You would quit your day job, and that's what you would do all day. If you read the Sikhs, you know, the Rebbe has around 40 books of the Sikhs. These are the books that the Rebbe edited. So these are 39 volumes that the Rebbe edited. Then there's 50 unedited books from all the books that Rebbe spoke, primarily. Give or take. You can make it different colors. Count that. So, and then there's the letters of the Rebbe from 1954 became done. The Rebbe answered questions. The Rebbe answered questions from every topic, every possible subject, topic, idea that was lingering. People gave answers. Throughout history, people gave answers. But when you see the Rebbe's answers and you see the questions the Rebbe asked on people's answers, you'll see that their questions really weren't answered. And they're simple questions. The Rebbe doesn't have to knock your socks off. It's right in front of you. So if somebody's a curious person, a knowledge seeker, a Torah seeker, and you study the Rebbe's data, you will quit your job and you will do this all day. It's fascinating, and it never gets boring. It's fascination. So when the Rebbe teaches us something in a mimer, you know this is the real way, the world works. This is what's really happening. But you can question it, you can argue with it, you can be cynical, skeptical. That's your problem. When the Rebbe is teaching us something, telling us something, giving us information, he's giving us a prescription. This is the way life works. So when the Rebbe, for example, says, think positive, it'll be positive. What do you think? He's trying to be like, he's telling you a right, like a march. He's giving you a slogan, a bumper sticker. You want to be healed? You want to solve your problem? By the way, just to give you a sidebar. Just a sidebar. When you learn words, you know what's not be positive or be positive. Right. So if I tell you a story, you tell me your problem. You tell me what's bothering you. You tell me a serious issue you're going through. And I tell you a story that has a miracle. Somebody this, somebody was going through that. They went to doctors or to lawyers or whatever. Couldn't solve the problem. It looks like it's over, finished. I'm in jail or I'm dying, whatever. God forbid. And somebody convinced you to go to the Rebbe. You went to the Rebbe, and do this, do that, and it's miraculous. So you'll say, but I know somebody that it didn't happen. I know a person went to the Rebbe. I know everybody's going to throw stories right back. For every one miracle, you throw 10 tragedies of God. That's how we are. That's how we react. But then, you want to know something? When you hear from the Rebbe, the minute you start with a question, you're not talking. You're not thinking about it. Don't ask questions. Learn to see about learn to see about being positive. Learn to see about something that's going to make your head clear out your head of all the shtus and all the garbage. And don't say that. Don't even ask questions, because then you just think your positive thinking. The minute you have a question, the minute you think a question, you just erase the thinking was thinking positive. What is a good question? The minute it's a question, it's already not, it doesn't work. Of course we have good questions. Everybody has good questions. Don't ask. You want a miracle? Open yourself up for the miracle. You know, it says that a person should not be 100%. I mean, obviously, in business, but a person should not be 100% all day knowing. You shouldn't know your net worth. Your net worth every day, every moment of every day, you can do it with computers and apps or whatever. 100 years ago, they had to do it in books, so it's fine. You shouldn't know the exact number. Why shouldn't you know the exact number? So for your business, for auditing, whatever, okay. But for yourself, your personal net worth, why do I have to know it every second? Why? Well, why not? Because then you're not making room for yourself to make a deposit. If I know the exact number in my bank account, I'll never get an unexpected deposit. Leave room for a miracle. But if I know the exact number, it's not going to work. You obviously have enough money in there, Mr. Shem, a big money, a lot of money, cool. But when you don't know the exact number every second of every day, David can walk into the bank, today we can do his phone app, and he can punch and make a deposit for you. So when a person's going through a hardship, all you need to do, listen to the words of the Rebbe. You should open yourself up for a miracle. But the minute you start, I don't know, I know this person, the minute you question, the minute you act like a cynic, the minute you act like you have doubts and questions,
You don't want to sponge.
So getting back to Tav Shecham phase. You know, it never talks to us in many ways. It never still talks to us. he finds a way to solve God. Right. So when people go to how many people have stories about the oil and how many well, that's 33 stories. It's 3 million stories. But I'm saying the story you go to the room and you see the Rebbe's answering. Everybody, but that's not the only way. It doesn't have to be the Rebbe's voice saying it. It could be somebody in the aisle or somebody else playing home or whatever. The answer is coming, a doctor, a lawyer, and whatever, so a consultant, a friend. Somebody called you, and sometimes we're part of the story. You call somebody out of the blue, you text somebody out of the blue, he says, I just came out of the aisle, you're my answer. You gave me the answer. I'll tell you, I'll tell you something that just happened. Today is Parshas B'Shalom. 3 weeks ago was Parshas Shemot. This Trach Good B'Zayin Good Tzicha, the famous Tzicha that everybody talks about, is from Parshas Shemot, 36, volume 36, the first Tzicha in that book. So everybody talks about think positive and only positive. I mean, that's it. Talks about it. And that's the famous one that everybody always says, the go-to one. How the Rebbe emphasizes and how he navigates in the maze in a way he reads in and out of different commentaries and explanations on how literally if you think good, you are literally going to be. It's going to be good. Volume 36. So I learned the Sikha this 3 weeks ago, and I finished the Sikha, and I texted a voice note on WhatsApp. I texted it, and I gave my commentary for like a minute and a half. He put it on 2 times speed, whatever. But for a minute, maybe more. It could have been a 2 minutes. I was telling him that, see it, but I was just telling him my commentary. It's similar to what I'm saying now. What kind of commentary about Trach Good, B'Zayin Good, and what the Rebbe is saying, and what the Rebbe is telling us, and what it means to us, and how relevant and whatever. Listen to this, it's an incredible thing, because sometimes little cattle class people could be the Rebbe's answer to somebody. He calls me up. He doesn't call me. He usually responds. Emoji. He called me. The minute I saw his name, I said, whoa, cobwebs came off. I'm at the aisle, or I just left the aisle. My daughter and son-in-law, they had a baby. The mother, no. They had a baby, or she has COVID, and the doctors said you have to have the baby. It was a little early. Take the baby out, so this way we can do aggressive treatment on the mother. A whole story with health, hospital, baby, COVID, whatever. And it was part of the critical time. Was it life and death? I have no idea. But it was very critical, very, very, very. He was very scared. He said, I went to the Rebbe and I'm davening. My wife flew to the kids. And I just came out of the aisle, and you give me a 2-minute voice note about with commentary. So I'm nobody. I'm nobody on top of nobody. But did Rebbe use that more? I'm learning a thing about Josh because I happen to be part of the and I asked why I texted him at that moment. I have no idea. That's how we get it. It happens to all of us all the time. Sometimes we're zeicha, we've merit that the Rebbe, God, will use us as a messenger to pass along a message. So the Rebbe told us, the Rebbe told us in 1962 that this life. It's on the other side. It's on the outside. Yontif. That this life. Yeah, I hear any words. So it looks like it's screaming. Just watch. Every show is watching. Ladies and gentlemen, I enjoy it. So guys, listen. Phase one of Yud Shevat Inspirational 5782 is coming to a close. Phase one. But we're looking at, see that thing over there that we're still on the bottom, not even in the phases. Phase one. You should know that in this minor, the Rebbe brought the essence of God into our day-to-day life. Not hypothetically, not intellectually, not only when you're in your holy moments and you Kippur or whatever. God is in this world, the essence of God, the level of God that was never disclosed. It was always here, but it was never disclosed. We always thought that we're getting a little drip of it, or a glimpse, or a glimmer, or whatever. The essence of God as is in this physical world. But what is, in chapter 12, in the original life, the previous Rebbe spoke about treasure, the king's treasure. We all, it doesn't matter how rich or poor somebody is, there's the money that's readily available, there's the money that we use in case of emergency, and then there's the valuables that we never touch. My grandma's, the ring, or the Alta Baba, the Alta Chnesma, your great-great-grandmother's, the China set, whatever it is. You never touch it. You never touch it. It's not for sale, it's not for even viewing. Once in a blue moon, you're home on a long little nacht, maybe. You'll go into the attic, you can take a look, whatever. But whatever your valuable is, painting, money, whatever it is, it's not that Bitcoin, whatever. So leave it there. So the Rebbe said that there's most battles, most wars that a nation has. The king will never touch his vault. He's never touching, he may never even look. It's not for show, it's not in the museum, it's not for anybody, nothing. But if you come to a war that it looks like we're in trouble, that the light, we're at risk of collapse. We're all gonna die. So then he gives it to the soldiers, to the generals, to give pass on to the soldiers, to be able to fight the war till the end to survive. For survival, you go to that vault. So think about it. That's what the previous Rebbe said. So what's the Rebbe saying? That how do we win this war? The war that we're going through, the dark versus evil versus good, and dark versus light, bitter versus sweet. How do we win this war? Atzmus, essence of God, has to come down as is. As is, not glimpses, and not a reflection, not a quarter, a half. The entire Atzmus has landed in planet Earth. In planet Earth, God, why is God doing this? And why is this revelation coming to us now? Because we're at the point, we're at a critical pivot point. In the darkness, as we can tell, you turn on any channel, even if you have the Android 2, you can still see it clearly. The world, how much sugar the world is. How dark the world is. How dark the world is. And so what did the Rebbe took the entire Atzmus and put it in the world, so we're given the vault. But we have to open our own faith. You have to open your mind to take it. It doesn't just full land in your lap. We have to do something to receive it. Kind.
Special thank you to everyone who helped with the food. Really, this also in honor and Beryl and Yitzchak and his family. They should have all good things. Haledi.
So, on the note of the Rebbe doing everything from every angle possible to bring godliness in this world in a revealed way, to give us on the one hand, to give us all the possible resources from the essence of God, and to give us the partnership, to give us the gift, the merit, to join with the Rebbe, as the first one of the first things the Rebbe said, 51, that we are going to partner with the Rebbe in the struggle, but we're going to bring. You know, the Rebbe said, right after the previous Rebbe passed away, he told somebody, what benefit do we have from the previous Rebbe passing away? We have to bring the previous Rebbe back. Now, you know, a lot of people say, loved one passes away. We need to see them good, wish they didn't die, whatever. It's a common thing to say, but a Rebbe doesn't just say words like a commoner. A Rebbe doesn't just say. When the Rebbe says something, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of layers and levels and messages. When the Rebbe says that we need to get Rebbe to come back, he's not only saying we need to get Rebbe to come back, he's saying we need to get Rebbe to come back, we need the base of Mikvah to come back with the Mashiach, and so on and so on. But the Rebbe doesn't waste words. So if the Rebbe is saying that, that means we are fully capable of doing, of making it happen. So there's again, when we say stories, when we say a story, there's always, whatever, you can have questions, or you can tell, but you can have our. Maybe you all heard, I don't know, it's a famous story. Anyway, there was a Yid, great. His name was Schwartz. We used to call him Schwartz. Schwartz. You know him? LA, from LA. So Schwartzy was incredible. So he originally was from Baltimore. He went to yeshiva, went to school, yeshiva, Baltimore. And he was going to YU, Yeshiva University in New York. And one of his best friends, never black, some kind of bad actor, artist. And so this guy, the doctor gave up. It was a horrible thing. So people told Schwartz never went to the anything about it. A little bit about it, a little bit, nothing. Well, everything was personal. We didn't know what he wanted. People said that he's a Farbrengen tonight. Going to the Rebbe. In the earlier years, you would go up. It was easier. The Rebbe was easily accessible. Whatever that means. Go to the Rebbe and ask for a brother. Ask for a blessing. But they said the pros, the expert, the guys who know, they said in your head, prepare what you're going to say. Say it over and over and over and over. Remember your friend's name and his mother's name and whatever, how you're going to say it, whatever. So in between, there's many stories like that. So in between sikhs, there was people went up together. Rebbe, whatever. So he goes to the Rebbe, and it's very noisy, as you know. He said, I can't even hear the rabbi. The reason why he's not doing enjoy it. Okay, now it's quiet. Listen. So this in between the sikh, the people going up to this he's on he's in his head over and over. But you know how you get to that, no matter how prepared you are, no matter how well you look at the Rebbe. He said what he planned. My friend was in a bad accident. His name is whatever, whatever he was. But the Rebbe said, he couldn't hear. It was whatever. It was people singing, whatever. So he said it again. Anyway, all he could say was, I need a report to Lamer for her, and he said to me. And he said, he thought for a second. Muslims from Baltimore. He said the last name of the guy from Baltimore. And Schwartzy, he's like, that's a magic trick. How do you, they never heard of it. Muslim never wrote to them. Nothing. He just said the boy's name and the mother's name. He did not say last name, from where, nothing. And the evidence like fought for 1 second. Muslims from Baltimore. And so how about the voice away? This boy, so Schwartzy, when he tells the story, he passed away years ago, but I heard him tell the story. You could see the passion. Oh, wow. So Schwartzy, when he tells the story, he said at that moment, I became a Asa Chassid of them. So I mean, miracles, we'll do that. But each the care and this new guy, I don't know if he never spoke to them. The Rebbe looked at it, and in other words, the Rebbe isn't doing with everybody, even if you're not doing with the Rebbe. The Rebbe loves every Jew, and he's connected to every Jew, even if every Jew you don't love or connect, or the Rebbe is connected to you somehow. We're connected to the Rebbe, whether you like it or not. You know, in the beginning of the prophets, the Rebbe explained what the purpose, what the objective, what are we doing? The Rebbe said that this is based on a whole bunch of things. Remember, if somebody, somebody's a therapist for 10 years, and they're busy every day. After 10 years, they've heard everything. They heard everything. Every possible problem under the sun, they have heard. A good therapist, a busy therapist, they've heard everything. So the Rebbe heard the Rabbeim, he heard it all. So the Rebbe says that this book is to answer people with their problem, physical, spirit, whatever their problem. But the person reading it doesn't have the right mindset. Issues can arise. Maybe the person is not going to really understand, whatever. So the Rebbe writes, we know each other. There's different interpretation. I know them or they know me. Susan said, if you learn Tanya, you became a Yehudi or Makini or Talmud. If you learn Tanya, now we know each other. Just learn Tanya, you know Talmud. Now the Rebbe is talking to anybody who studies Tanya. Because when you study Tanya, you become connected to Talmud. So when a person, the fact you're a Yid and you live in this Jewry, the fact we're alive in this generation, we're connected with the Rebbe. That's it. Especially if you walk into a Chabad house, you have something to do with the Chabad house, you have something to do with something with Chabad, with the Rebbe, with Chabad, whatever. Something you have joined the club, and you, even if you didn't, you are. But for sure, even more so if you joined. So when he saw, now think this, you know, these are stories, they're powerful stories. You know why? Because they never said Muslim hope. But they never really said brother. They never said keep him from having like it's all the same. You say that they never said everybody's name from where they are. It's expressed in one name in the 50s. But this is the 50s. You can say, well, the Rebbe is a junior Rebbe, you know, he's not professional yet. In the 50s, the Rebbe showed us our relationship with the Rebbe. So again, when the Rebbe says our mimer, every year, any mimer, but Basi Lagani specifically for that year, 2 of them every year. Every year there's 2 mimer. You can see, sometimes you don't have to look too hard, sometimes you have to look very hard. You can see how the Rebbe is pushing God closer to the world and pushing us closer to God. There's so many books written on that. Forgive me. And some people are strict, you know, some of the sages, scholars, strict, like we're all gonna die, whatever. But many of the scholars, you know, they explain how better recipes on how to do tshuva, easier. The Rebbe saw, if you could put it in a nutshell, forget your past and just become a good boy or a good girl. That's it. Don't even think about your past. Delete it from your browser history. Delete it from your head. And just from now on, don't worry about your past. By the way, I don't. Do you have time for it? We have time for it. So
I'll tell you what. I'm going to cover.
You don't.
No, I do have to. Someone Tanya was the more age doctor, so that wants to enjoy.
Okay. So
we started from the beginning. We always like
So there's a way to learn Tanya. There's a way to learn Tanya. All those who study Tanya. There's a way to study Tanya that it becomes a very scary book, or the book for the impossible, the improbable. And there's a way to study Tanya that y'all did ever love. Somebody I just heard it. One of the famous words said this. Escapia. Hold back. Hold myself back. I have this drive to do something. Escapia means I want to do it, even when I'm not doing it. I'm still dying to do it. Even after I left the situation, I still wanted to do it. But I had escapia. It's hot for me. I transformed myself that now I don't even want to. I got rid of this desire. I got rid of this desire. So, but it's living a life of escapia is hard. Every time I want to eat something, not even, again, everybody in their life. Some people food, some people doesn't, whatever. But we live a life that I have temptations, I have things I'm dying to do, or mitzvahs that I don't want to do, and I have to constantly fight to do it or not to do it. So when you study these books, what's out there? Like my whole life, I never like to do what I want to do. Anything I want to do, I can't do it. It's a scary book, or it's impossible. Somebody spoke to the Rebbe. Somebody wrote to that way. Read this one. Wrote. I think it was me. I don't remember the Russian, but the paragraph. Escapia. If you do it right, it is the best expression of freedom. When you walk by cheesecake, and every time you walk by cheesecake, and every time you walk by cheesecake or chocolate cake or whatever cake, I'm gonna think. I know. My cake, whatever my favorite or my top five. I know it. That's like it. If I walk by cake, I want it, but I know I have the strength to just keep going. That's freedom. If I walk by, I'm in the mall. I have to buy one particular thing, but every store I pass by, I see another. Oh, I gotta have that. Oh, I gotta have that. So what's freedom? Freedom is that I go and buy it, or freedom is that I can walk right by it. I don't need it. It's not. I can walk without. I'm free to make my own decisions. That nothing is manipulating. Nothing is pulling or pushing to do or not to do. So you can look at Escapia like I'm in prison, or you can look at Escapia like I'm a free bird. I'm free. So when you learn to see this, and you see all these rules and regulations, and what the picture that what Hashem wants, people say, I don't want Mashiach, I'm not ready for Mashiach. First, let me become a millionaire, enjoy this world, then Mashiach. What's Mashiach? What's state of interest? What's Kabbalah? What are all these things? Are they scary prisons? Are they imprisoning? Are they restricting? Or is it absolute beautiful freedom? You are free to do what you want when you want, nothing to manipulate. And by the way, just so you know, we talked about before how the world keeps getting darker and darker. If you were born in a cave, your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents were born in a cave. So you would think darkness is light. You never saw light. So you would think this is normal. And there would be some guy who got lost and somehow found his way into your cave, your 10 miles underground. Somehow somebody got lost and they start telling you about there's a sun, there's light, and you think nuts. So when a chassid is walking in the street and telling people about Mashiach, we're that guy who came from the light, the sun, the Rebbe, and we're telling you about there's a sun out there, there's a Mashiach out there, there's a chassid out there, there's a Rebbe, and they look at you like you're nuts because they're so enwrapped in their earpods. They're so enwrapped in their TikToks. They're so lost. We could say, the yeshiva doesn't let me have a smartphone. Slavery! I'm in prison! And speak to people who are so engrossed, their eyes are glued to their phone, they can't look up for a second. That's freedom. Does it's freedom? I have to have I'm binge watching. Binge watching. Who ever heard of binge watching? I'm binge watching. And people say it openly. They're not embarrassed. I'm binge watching. It's crazy. But that's freedom, because I can do it. I'm retired now, I can binge watch. That's freedom. You don't have to. So this person tells the Rebbe, Eskapi is hurting me. This person tells the Rebbe, Eskapi is hurting me. Holding myself back, restricting myself. I feel like I'm in prison. And the Rebbe is telling me that's the best freedom you can possibly have. You created, you self-imposed needs on yourself. You said you need a big wardrobe. You said you need 15 cars. You said you need this kind of house, this kind of watch, this kind of toy, and this kind of. You made this need. Nobody who said you need that. We come up with our own needs. Now, forget about what the world tells us. What we tell us. We make our own needs. Comes Iskafia, comes Tanya, comes Ovid Abeya, comes Basi Lagani, and it tells you want true, because again, people saying who wants Mashiach, why do we need Mashiach? Life is good. Why is life good? Because I have a beach chair and it's a sunny day. I paid my bills. Good life. That's the person living in the cave. The guy who tells him there's a sun and there's a light, he thinks about it. So somebody who says, why do I need Mashiach? Is living in this cave and the light is up. Instead of always there. The darkness became light. That's how dark it became. So dark, the dark is light. And the Rebbe the Rebbe literally spent 42 years, slept an average of 3-4 hours in a 24-hour period. For 42 years, they're not getting to our heads. You see it in the Maimonim. You see it clearly. It's in the Maimonim. You want to know what the Rebbe did? Look at that. The Maimonim. The Rebbe took Atmos and he brought it down. With his 2 hands, he took Atmos, whatever they look like, and he put it down here. And you see it clearly in Chavez, in this Maimon. That's what the Rebbe did. For us. The Rebbe didn't have one entertaining or fun or whatever you want to call it day in his whole life, but for sure the last from the day he came down. Every single thing was for Yiddishkeit around the world. Every Jew. Can you imagine that the Rebbe took it on his shoulders, whatever that means, to send a shliach shluchim to every corner of the world. So if you say they went to LA, they went to Miami, they went to Chicago, whatever, that's also hard, difficult enough to get it. But the Rebbe sent shluchim to places with his 4 Jewish family. That's it. How do you take that on your shoulders? Because who said those 4 Jews are any less important than those 4,000? Who made who more important? When you look at numbers, when you have a calculator, bigger number means bigger number. Bigger amount is larger. But we don't look at calculators when it comes to neshama. When it comes to a soul, there's no calculator. Neshamas, they're infinite. From one neshama we're going to get you, we're going to come rescue you. Did Rebbe went to rescue every single Jew? Where do we see that? The first Maimer Basi Lagani, and it expanded for 42 years, every single year of Maimer. So that's what we have now. Tonight in Baruch Hashem, we have 2 Maimer every year. 2 revolutions every year. 2 revelations every year. Like I said before, if we would study the Rebbe, studied it properly, we quit our day jobs and that's all we do all day. God should tell us all day. Fascinating. It's fascinating, and it's real life. It's with the more you learn Chassidus, the more you see what kind of bumbling, crazy shit in the world is. You're being lied to. Every time you turn on your computer, you turn on your phone, it's a lie. They're lying. They are lying. It's a used car salesman. Everything about this world is one big used car salesman. Excuse me if anybody's a used car salesman. The world is a lie. It's a big fat lie. It's not whatever the world is trying to sell you. Run the other way. Run with your Nike Jordan sneakers. Run. It's a lie. The more you learn a Maimer, the more you learn Chassidus, the more you get in touch with the Rebbe, you will see, you'll feel, you'll sense, it's tangible, it's palpable. What kind of lie this world is. It's a lie, sheket going. But yet we go swimming, deep sea diving in this world.
Right?
That's why.
It is all right.
That's why I wasn't proud of you. The second
You live here? Yeah, I knew I screwed up.
I called you out, but you didn't hear me. And my father told,
maybe you know she
35 years. My father was honest. No. You,
It's a saying, it's a saying.
no, I understand what you meant, but even the.
He didn't mean your father down.
No, I'm just saying that not all of them are good copies.
I know.
I have to make a point out. When I have to make a point, I have to make a
Go
point.
for it.
Some of
Not
the-
AC specialist.
A lot of people use my father in other places because, like, if there was something wrong with the car, you would come right away. You don't get it. Some of them were
With exception.
with exception. Exactly.
I am. So, yeah.
So we got to the four someone versus the 4,000. Is it possibly because our boots with the notion of alpha seed and alpha?
I don't hear you.
So going back to what you were saying, you said still give to more than 4 years versus which are the is it possible the notion of our roots, where we're all stewards for one another, and taking that with the notion of an alpha versus an alpha seed? You know, seeds an alpha 5 days, but you never know how many apples come from one seed. So perhaps it's possible that there's more, if we're focusing the right way and harvesting them properly, that they can then go on to influence thousands and 1,000. Is that kind of the idea, or we have to
A community of four.
Thank you.
But that's not the problem.
Okay.
It could happen.
right?
But four souls right now are important, regardless of.
I don't work.
Sorry?
As you're saying, you're still taking
Independent, yes. I am.
I mean,
sticker for whoever needs a sticker.
¿Qué?
Diabólicos.
¿Eh?
Diabólicos.
Diabólicos. ¿Por? Mucho ajo.
Tiene que hacer escapia para no comer más.
I'm assuming. I took the guy to the right. I don't think there's a good thing. I think it happened.
Okay, let's finish up. Thank you. Never finished. Everybody's late.
It's all right. Well, we're running. I gotta tell you, you talk. It's great. It's really great. I'm telling you. I just have one hang-up. I'm not even.
Just what?
Your father's also a salesman?
No, he's in real estate. Yeah. Right. I gave you a place to live. What's your hang-up? The guy. There you go.
So. I mentioned Tanya before. And Tanya,
Oh, yeah.
Tanya's a potentially scary book. And the truth is, Tanya is a potentially scary book. And somebody learns Tanya, and somebody learns Tanya in a way that
Moving the sales.
if somebody learns Tanya in an unformed or just the original English Tanya, they'll put it down quickly. They're not going to be, they couldn't handle it. They wouldn't be able to handle it.
Crazy stuff.
Let's look at. I'll mention part one first and we'll go on to Bay's famous Mohammed Bay's chapter 32 is the famous chapter where the Rebbe discusses Mohammed 32 is late. It's the heart of Tanya. The heart of Tanya is not what you fellow do is the heart of Tanya. So everything in Tanya, all the brilliance and all the subjects and topics, and all the virtues, all the spirituality and godliness and everything is all about ultimately, obviously, it's all about the so this is the cross of Tanya. So how can a book that's called, that's ultimately boiled down to Havitz Yisrael, and then the chapter that talks about Havitz Yisrael, loving yourself, is called the heart of Tanya. How can that possibly be a scary book? It doesn't jive. It's a contradiction. So obviously it's not a scary book. Obviously, the Rebbe loves us. But sometimes the blessing is so strong that it just comes down in a way that it feels a little too bitter. In fact, I'll get to write some Kabbalah, chapter 26. The person has a difficult life. The good is so powerful that the physical world cannot handle it. It's so powerful that the physical world, it's coming from such a high level that the physical world can't handle it. But the blessing and the good, we're actually getting it. One day, hopefully, it'll all accumulate and you'll feel it and you'll get a wall of good. You know, when it rains and pours,
One day, all right. One day.
if I was God, I would come. Next time I speak there.
Go away, Shabbos tomorrow morning.
So It's all about the approach. It's all about the preparation on how you study it, on your studies or studies. It's all about how you look at it, your perspective. There are, for every buyer there's a seller. If I sell your house, who's right? Now, of course, you could have a reason why you're buying. You have a reason why you're selling. But let's say whatever I'm selling, whatever, there's no major reason why I'm selling. There's no major reason. The value went up, and so who's right and who's wrong? Somebody's wrong. Either the buyer's wrong or the seller's wrong. Somebody's wrong. So it depends on your perspective. If you see a bright future in this neighborhood, then you're going to buy. If you don't see such a bright future, you're going to sell. But if you see a bright future and you're still selling, why are you selling? So when you study Chassidus, it depends on your perspective. It depends on your perspective. It depends on your approach. What is going on here? What are the Rebbeim trying to tell me? Well, remember, if you come from the premise is that Rebbe loves you. That Rebbe is trying to help you. That Rebbe is trying to bring me closer, of course, to God, but bring me closer to who I am, who I'm supposed to be, who I'm meant to be. When you reach that, when you understand, stop it. Okay.
Stop leaving. The Rebbe said, now, stop. Don't worry, don't very good. When I'm not doing what you
when they brought in the cake. So when they brought in the good-looking cakes and donuts, you could now test yourself. You don't have to know. Nobody has to look at you. Nobody has to test you. Test yourself. What was the first thing that went into your head? You have to wait for somebody else to take it, or take it. I'd be the first one to take it, or you didn't even notice it. So now again, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Is that a positive thing? Is that a negative thing? What the bottom line? What does the Rebbe want? What does Chassidus want? What does Yud Shevat want? It's a lot more than that. A lot more than that. They say that every piece of technology that we own, we barely, when you get a new, let's say, for sure a computer, or when you get a new dishwasher, or a new washing machine, whatever. Who reads the manual? Just push the same button you push on the old machine and it'll wash it. The manual is like 100 pages, 200 pages. Who's reading it? So we only use less than 5% of what this thing is capable of. When it comes to a phone, a computer, you use 2% of what it's capable of. When you have software, you use a fraction of what it's capable of. So how much of our brain do we use? How much of our neshama do we use? How much of our godly soul do we use? How much we have infinite potential, and somebody davens 3 times a day and does Chomesh, Tehillim, Tanya, Rambam a day, and they said, I'm satisfied, I did enough today. What is that? That's less than 1% of what your godly soul is capable of. So what the Rebbe wrote 52 chapters in the first part, he wrote 30, 12, 30, whatever. The Rebbe wrote a whole book of Tanya. And based on Tanya comes thousands and thousands of my discourse. To try to try to make that Herculean effort to extract more percentage out of everybody's godly soul. Get to know your godly soul, get connected with your godly soul, and get using your godly soul. But we are busy a whole day farbrengen with our animal soul. Come here, Behemoth. Come here, Behemoth. Let's be friends. A whole day we're trying. We're trying to. A whole day we're trying to become best friends with our nefesh habahamis, our animals. It's a battle. But again, when the doctor gives you the prescription, the doctor says take this, it's bitter, it doesn't taste good, it's okay, the surgery hurts, the shot hurts, the drill hurts, whatever it is, but the doctor is saving your life. The doctor is fixing it. When Chassidus, sometimes it doesn't feel great. You know, Shabbos for a smoker is hell on earth. Shabbos for an iPhone user is hell on earth. How many people, as soon as they look up, they don't even look at the clock anymore. They look up at the star. When they can see that third star, they run like a cheetah to their phone.
Some people pay people to make them see stars.
What is that? What is that? You know what that is? That's using a fraction of your godly soul and using your animal soul to the fullest. I want to use my animal soul to its fullest. I always said before the phone was you guys. I always wondered, unless you're a smoker. You're a smoker, I get it. But unless you're a smoker, why do you need Shabbos to be over? For coffee, for pizza? Like what's driving it? If you're not addicted to something, what are you addicted to? Smoking, okay, I get it. But if you're not a smoker, what are you dying? People can't wait for Shabbos to be over. Why? What's on your phone? Whose email are you waiting for? What? It's Shabbos. It's not even a. It's not a work Saturday either. It's not a business day. It's not a work day. So like, it's not like there's a business deal in the making. What do you thought? What's this rush to Havdalah? That's the animal soul. It's the animal. Remember, when you're rushing to do a sin or to do something that's not spiritual or holy, it's the animal drive. When you're wanting to do a mitzvah with chayes, with love, with devotion, with commitment, with kavanah, that's the God's soul. And this is this bitter pill. The bitter pill. The bitter pill. The bitter pill. That chassidus looks like a bitter pill. It looks like it hurts. It looks like it doesn't love you. It looks like it's hurting you. But on the contrary, Iskafia is the biggest freedom. Following in the ways of the Rebbe, following in the ways of God, it sounds scary. It sounds scary. You know, when they tell you, you learn how. So they say the difference between tzaddik, righteous, whatever tzaddik, they say righteous, whatever tzaddik. Beinoni, the middle, the intermediary, and Russia is the evil, wicked. It doesn't have to be wicked, it doesn't have to be evil. The good, the bad, and sometimes ugly. So when you see what the expectations are of the middle guy that I was talking to throughout the whole book, it's impossible. What do you want? By the way, just so you know, why am I talking about Tanya? Because critical Tanya is so which, but this year, there's a lot of Tanya, an immense amount of Tanya quoted, especially in. Okay, so when you study what the manual, the guide, how to be a baby, without exception, the first reaction of anybody studying Tanya, you study the definition of a beinoni. It's not for me. You're out. I'm out of here. Bye. They start talking. When's lunch? So, but then you have to remember, wait a minute, the Alter Rebbe loves every Jew. He's not coming from a perspective of, let's make life difficult. Let's have impossible expectations. He's coming from love. So obviously this is in reach to every single person. Everybody on their level, but for every person. The Alter Rebbe did not write Tanya for a select group. It wasn't for the special. It wasn't for the prominent. Tanya was for every Jew. Every single Jew can glean from Tanya. And every single Jew can become what Tanya expects of them. Scary book. So when you see what the thing is, then you hear of the quote unquote the full-time beings that they say there used to be was, that existed, that lived. I can never be that man. I can never be. I can never do. Not only I can never live that life, I can't even do that for 10 minutes. So what's out the devil want? But do you know what? We go around our whole life, a large part of our life, a large part of our day, and saying, I can't do it. Excuse me, you have an opportunity. You go to public, you go to Costco. I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm going to go. I don't know. That's how we live. Not every day, not every person, not every situation, but that's how we are. I don't know, I'm not sure, I'll get back to you. Let me see. And it's no different than when we're learning something, how to change my life, how to change myself. It's no different. You really expect me to become that? You think I can become that kind of expert? You think I can learn how to play with that program? You think I can? How we are. But let's try to change that. I open up a time. You know how we're coming up to Pesach. I know it's a while, but it's already on the radar. The scary radar. So how does Pesach work? How does Pesach work? Now we talk about it with a smile. in 2 months from now, you hear the word Pesach, you run like a banshee. I'm already panicking, but I'm saying the obvious panic, right? But the point is that when everybody has a different trigger moment, that oh my God, Pesach's coming, and cleaning, buying, cooking, shopping, scrubbing, aprons, and whatever. Everybody has a different moment, but generally speaking, we're getting close to that moment. But until that moment, why are you not cleaning your closet for Pesach last night? Why? Why not? Why? A closet a closet in the bedroom that's hardly looked at. Why didn't you clean it yet? Because that's more important. If you do that, then by the time you get a month before Pesach, 90% of the house is done and you're good to go. But no, we're going to wait till the trigger. I'm going to wait for panic. I'm not going to do it before panic. I'm going to wait for panic. But if we approached life, why do I have to wait until I'm sweating buckets? Why do I have to wait till panic time? Why can't I do it like a man, spend 5 minutes a day for 2 months, and then it's done calmly and peacefully? So the same thing. I open up a book of Chassidus. I open up a book of self-help, a real book of self-help, not the garbage. And my parents, my friends, whatever, convinced me to read this, but it's not. No, open it up in a way I want to hear what the person has to say, and let me experiment. Remember in school science, we had an experiment, and your mother wanted to kill you because you brought hydrogen and oxygen, whatever. You brought a whole bunch of garbage and chemical. But experiment with yourself. Go to a Farbrengen, watch the cake roll by, and see how you react. Go to a wedding, experiment with yourself. How many times can I walk by the smorgasbord table and not even look at it? Or not even, or whatever. Don't take it. Experiment. Just experiment. Do it 3 times and then go eat. You gotta eat. What do you think Chassidim did?
What do you think old time Chassidim did? Do you think they were born a hot chassid? They worked and they worked and they worked and they worked until they could walk by a piece of cake and it looked like an old piece of herring. And that they would run to.
I'm gonna say that's about it.
But that's that. How do you think it happens? It does nothing to that. Your house is not going to be doing that just by you thinking about it. You're not going to become a better chassid. You're not going to become more connected to the Rebbe by just thinking about it. I'll work one day. One day starts right now. Every day starts right now. Everything starts right now. So if you want to know, can I become a better person? Don't wait. Why am I waiting? I'm going to start dieting on New Year's. I'm going to start dieting on Monday. If you say, what's wrong with Sunday? Oh, Sunday. Well, next week is going to be Sunday too. Sunday, I can't. The Super Bowl, it is. The tailgate parties, the friends, the beer. Monday, I can do it. I want to be a better person, but I'm not going to start till after the wedding, after the trip, after then you know what? When you're home, in your homeland, in your neighborhood, when you're home, I look Hasidic, I look Jewish, I look pro. But when I travel, I can wear different outfits, I can speak differently, I can act differently. That's who you are. Not when you're at home. You're the guy who's out there. Okay, guys, we don't need to come.
I'm going nowhere.
When you go, the person who you are is the person who you are. And if you say that when I'm home, I'm this, and when I'm here, I'm there, and when I'm that, then the real you is the like water goes to the bottom, that's who you are. So a person, Pashut Kipshuta, is literally simple. When you say, I'm going to open the book, the Tanya, the Maimer, the Gemara, whatever, say it. Let me see what this person is. How could it work for me? Not how it can work. I'm doing somebody a favor. No! People who read this book and live by this book are the happiest people. You know, I always ask the kids, the girl, the kids I teach, whatever. I always ask them, let me ask you a question. I mean, it's, you can ask the kids the question in one way and adults in a different way. But let me ask you a question. If I don't want to harp on the same thing over and over, but most people, kids, adults, teenagers, whatever, you say, let's go to this mall, let's go to the Apple store. They will be dressed in hurricane ABC. Tell them we're going to school, they turn over, express news, whatever. But the truth is, let's use the Apple store just as an example, but whatever exciting thing. Anything exciting. You ask a person, you want to go to Disney, everybody's in the car. You want to go to Busch Gardens, you want to go to the mall, to the park, whatever. If you ask most Chassidim, when I say Chassidim, it's also a broad word. But what would you rather do? You want to go to the Apple store, you want to go to Disney, or you want to go study some Torah? I want to go study some Torah. What are you, nuts? Chalamayit, Sukkot and Pesach. When I was growing up, Chalamayit, Sukkot and Pesach was for a great adventure, Six Flags was for games and fun and more fun, and how much fun could you have? But then you grow up a little bit, and then you see there are guys your age, 14, 15, 16, 17, whatever, that are they're studying Torah, not the whole day. They go out maybe play a ball game, whatever. But a large part of the day they study Torah. And like, what? You could have gone to this. You could have gone to Six Flags. What's wrong with you? Now, I'm not saying you all have to do that. What I'm asking is, why does he think that's more exciting, or why does he prefer to do that than to go to a amusement park? What's behind it? I'm not saying we all have to sit and study all day. But why would somebody choose to study and not want to go? The answer is very simple. Most things in our life, the reason why we dismiss it, the reason why we ignore it, because we're uneducated. We're ignorant. We don't know about it. You go to another, Jews not as much, but go goes to a different country and they taste different, they see different foods, different culture. And they taste the food they never heard about in their life. In France, you go to Asia, in Asia you can eat insects, but if you go to different countries, you see cuisine, you see foods that you never saw before, you never heard of. So when you taste it, oh my God, it's great. But you never, and this could be, all of a sudden, it can turn into your favorite dish. You never heard about it before, and suddenly it becomes. But if you describe it, I'm in America, somebody describes something from food from France, taste it, try it, tell a baby, eat this carrot, the face, whatever. No, I don't want that. Try it. And they try it, it becomes the favorite. They don't want anything else, they just want that. Most people don't study Torah. Most people would rather go to Six Flags than to learn a mimer because they never tried it. There's nothing wrong with Six Flags. There's nothing wrong with pizza. There's nothing wrong with bowling. That's not the point. The point is we don't try it. We push it and try it. We learn a mimer, yeah, of course. But to learn a mimer, to learn a Gemara, to learn the same way you clean your house and things. With the same emphasis, with the same intensity. Push it, get into it, focus for an hour, study some Torah, and maybe it'll way. I'm starting. Whoa, I get it. I'm starting to get it. It's like when somebody's overweight and they love food. We all love food. They're overweight. They want to eat. Eating is good. And suddenly, one day, they make a real resolution. They finally make a legitimate, genuine achlata. I'm losing weight. And they lose 10, 20, whatever they have to lose. The feeling is so good that it's a much better feeling than your favorite cake or your favorite food. But you never tried it before. So if you never tried it before, I want you to give me food. You go to the doctor and the doctor tells you you're not healthy. And you start getting healthy. And then you go to the doctor and the doctor says you look much better. That's you thank God. You daven with more kavanah that night. You celebrate that. That's a much better feeling than whatever the food tastes like. Much better feeling. But we don't try. So since we don't try, I like Six Flags, I like cake, I'll eat 2 smorgasbords to go. And that's the way we are. That's the way we are.
Rabbi,
So
100%.
Danny. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why it happened. That's why it happened. Push and push the Siddur and Farbrengen and Torah. The Rebbe was, I'm telling you, the more you think about it, as you get older, you start to retroactively see things the Rebbe said and did. He was spoon feeding us. Your mother's spoon feeding her babies. The Rebbe was spoon feeding his babies. With everything. The famous Yewry I think it was Kaisara 92. The Rebbe, it's a long, very incredible, fascinating secret. And one of the things is that when Avram sent Eliezer to marry a Yitzchak, Eliezer to find a wife for Yitzchak, so he gave him a contract with all the four. Now Avram, relatively speaking, I don't know, a billionaire. Avram was one of the wealthiest people in the world. He gave a contract to his shoulders to the potential bride. Everything I own is going to get to In fact, they tried to give all the dates wealth. But anyway, so that's what it says. That's what it's all about. Anyway, so why did he have to give you that? If a girl was going to marry a boy, or a boy, whoever the wealth is, I need $1 million. If he only sent $100 million, that's not enough. If he sent $10 million, it's not enough. Like, why everything? So did I explain? And this is a pasuk. It says he gave him whole asher line, everything that he owns, everything that belongs to him. In fact, it's so true, so to speak, that the commentaries ask how you're not even allowed to do that to give everything to you. I'm still alive, you gotta live, whatever. Anyway, so the Rebbe says, this was the first Jewish marriage. The first Jewish marriage after circumcision. And this was the future of the Jews forever. And this epic marriage, the future of Judaism, required every single resource that Abraham had. Abraham gave everything he had to his son, in order that Jews should live forever, properly, spiritually, the way it's supposed to be. That's what the Rebbe did for us. The Rebbe gave us everything. His time, his energy, his blood, his sweat, everything that Rebbe gave us. Non-stop, literally. And the more, I'm telling you, I didn't see this when I was 15, 18, 20. I was there. I didn't see it. Obviously, we saw a lot. But the older you get, the more you understand how the body works, how mind works, how learning works, how scheduling works. Fascinating. And the more you realize, the more you peel away from the physical. What is it? What am I driving? The Tesla? What in the world does it add to your life? Garnish. Nothing. It adds nothing. It takes away from your life. Used car salesman. Sorry. Used car salesman. The world is a used car salesman. I'm telling you, guys, whatever, besides Rabbi Eli Rosenfeld. Besides Rabbi, I'm telling you, that when you see a billboard, when you see a commercial, when you see a advertisement, whatever it tells you to do the opposite. If it tells you to take this medicine, take the opposite medicine. If it tells you to buy this car, buy the opposite. I was just talking to somebody this time. I want to tell you. I had one. There's one, I'm sure I liked a lot of commercials, but there's one ad that I love, and I'll never forget. I never forgot. Don't forget about me. I'm sure I can't forget about me. If you don't keep quiet, I'll never forget about you. So it was an ad. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant ad. You know, Consumer Reports. Anybody heard of Consumer Reports? Consumer Reports. They write about every single thing that was created. Every single technology and whatever, they write everything. There's a toothpick, a nose ring, everything. Olive Shigas. Cars, planes, boats, electronics, appliances, everything. So you can imagine that the engineers and the scientists and the editors, they all know what's the best besides what they print. But they were all there during the testing, they see what's a good, what's really not so good. The ad said that the owner, the founder, the CEO, whatever you call it, of Consumer Reports drives a Honda. I love that. The owner, the boss, the leader, the founder, whatever, he drives a Honda. So when you see a tzaddik, what does a tzaddik follow? What do tzaddikim follow? What do smart people follow? I want to follow you. Why would I hang out with losers? Why you sit a whole day complaining and depressed? Why would you hang out with leaders, winners, successful people? What's the definition of success? Happy, real happy, not fake happy. You know what's money I have? That doesn't mean happy. I want to change. When you want to know who's happy, watch people on millionaires don't necessarily dance happy. Happy people dance happy. Happy people dance happy. Watch somebody dancing at the Watch somebody dancing at a stranger's wedding. Not the brides and the groom's parents and all. Watch the stranger, guest. Somebody who dances at a chasana properly, he's happy. She's happy. But the non-happy, they put one finger on the shoulder of the guy in front of them, and they're all the way at the outer edge, and they go around once to be yates, and then they're back to the short. Follow those people. Follow happy people. Follow success. You want to know what is this? So again, go to this week. There's nothing wrong. But if you want to see true happiness, you see. I went into 770 a few times. Stop. Not because I happen to be in 770. You walk in, you see a group of people or a lone person sitting there studying. He could be in Red Bench in 6 months. He could be wherever. Why is he here? And he's enjoying it more than the whole Six Flags put together. All the guys, and especially the teenagers having a good time over here. He's having more fun than them. And he's being more productive. The boss of Consumer Reports drives a Honda, not a Tesla, not a Beamer, not a used car. He drives a Honda. A used Honda.
Cada uno puede expresar, pero el problema también, cada uno puede tener problemas. Let's go, good, all the way.
You know, in Montreal, the question was always, the sign said, oh, not a joke. If you back up in Montreal, Quebec, that is all French. They win a loss, man, say English, and you have to have French, the bigger side. And there was a whole lawsuit about the franchise name is not English, it's not French, that's the name. And he was very happy that what was up to say. I'm not because I don't want to be there. I thought the position I was.
Oh, let's go. Okay, so.
Chef now.
So,
He says no.
so there's,
That's Rabbi Alvin, I think Rabbi Rosenfeld like a little bit. Not because, you had nothing to say, but I have to eat something, to drink something. Oh, he wants to
so there's a story from the Rebbe. There's a story from the Rebbe. Just again, to illustrate how this is shown. Again, this is, I guess, relatively well known. So, Sukkot is everybody. Everybody's buying the little ones. There are a lot of places. A lot of shul, or every shul has that person who has to show up as the biggest, have the biggest district, the nicest, whatever. And there happen to be some of the, there's some of the sellers, the Esther and Lulav sellers, who have high quality, medium quality, whatever, or many of them have all quality. Anyway, but then there were some that, no, they're not such high, they don't, for whatever reason, they don't get high quality. So there was a fellow who went to buy an esrog, and he went to one of the sellers, and he's looking around the tables and everything. He doesn't see any esrog, but they're not nice. No, he cannot find the nice esrog. While he's here, he sees a famous, important, whatever person. Wealthy-ish, but more prominent. He walks in there and he's surprised to see him. Like, this guy should be buying the Grand Central or the Rodeo Drive of this right here. What's he doing over here? So, and he quickly finds an esrog, he buys it, and he whatever. He reads. So he said, I know where he came here to buy an esrog just to give this guy some money, for nothing. But really, he's gonna go buy he really has a real big esrog and he's gonna buy it beautiful. So he said, I'm gonna watch him in shul. I'm gonna look at him in the synagogue, and I'm gonna see what he's using. Is he gonna use this simple esrog, or is he gonna have a much nicer one? So he goes shul and sukkah, and he sees the guy's using the same esrog he bought, the simple esrog. He's using this small, whatever, the cheap esrog. So he was like, he runs out after him. He says, I don't understand. He said, listen, I didn't use my nasa, whatever I wanted to do. So I did it, but you should have pronounced it. I feel bad. So this guy, who witnessed the whole story, he said, I have to tell the story. I must tell the story. So he didn't just write it down. He found a princess, a famous fancy writer, and he bought this expensive portrait. And he wrote it, whatever, he wrote it like in the ancient times, a beautiful, nice, handwritten, beautiful letter, the whole story, from beginning to end. And he wax sealed it, like the old days. And he handed it to one of the Rebbe secretaries, and he asked the secretary, please, whatever, I would like to know the Rebbe's reaction, whatever. Later that day, the next day, the Rebbe secretary tracked him down, called him, saw him, and he said, I put your letter on top of the fire. And the Rebbe opened it. And you know the way the Rebbe would put the papers speed reader. The Rebbe was a speed reader. And he said that Rebbe was reading. And every line, the Rebbe smile got bigger. Now let me tell you something. We all have fantasies, we all have desires, we all have intentions, we all have dreams. If you could write a letter to the Rebbe and you heard that the Rebbe smiled from ear to ear from what you wrote, then that's better than 50 Disneys. That's better than there's not. I cannot think of anything better. You know what to tell you. You know what it says. It says about. I don't know. Make sure. That God will that the Torah mentioned that God will great is the merit that the Torah that it was either B'nai Slochad or the other story. Something that who was it that changed something and God was that I think it was not Sloch. Whatever. Something changed. Whatever. Slochad. And fine, that's what it is. Yeah. But God will it's the greatest demerit on the person who brought good news to the Rebbe. The Rebbe, you read the letters, and the Rebbe was always talking about, people complaining to the Rebbe or writing about their problems. But ratio-wise, more people wrote about the problems, more people wrote about the complaints, more people wrote negatives. And even when the miracle happened, when the thing changed, when the Rebbe, whatever, they really, if they ever thanked the Rebbe, not thanked the Rebbe, let him know. How many times did that, when you read a letter from the Rebbe, please send more details. Please let me know how it worked. You know what that means? When you see on a blow dryer, don't put this in water. Because there was some idiot out there putting water. When all the warnings that you ever see on products, it's all there because there was a lawsuit, because some idiot did it. So if the Rebbe has to write, send me more details. But the Rebbe has to write, tell me what happened. That means most people don't do it. Do you know what that means? The Rebbe comes for a blessing. Somebody comes to the Rebbe for a blessing. The Rebbe gives them advice or advice, and the Rebbe doesn't hear from them. Do you know how frustrating that is? The Rebbe, and obviously whatever. The Rebbe knew. The Rebbe is asking for details. That means people don't send details. Send details. And of course, there's some people who write exciting or interesting, and then some people write boring. The Rebbe wants to hear. He wants to know about what's going on. It's sad that people will get a letter like that, and even people who got that letter still didn't. They still were, brief or subtle or whatever. They didn't get into it. Why? But why? Why does it? No, but why does it ever want my? Your mother wants you details. Your father wants you details. You never want. I want to hear about your life. When you call your mother and your parents, and you say, "Hi, how you doing? I'll talk to you later. Bye." That's what the letter looks like. Rebbe, I have problems. Please help me. Bye. Rebbe, you fixed my problem. Bye. Thank you. Which is actually, that's not so bad, but details, because I'm your father. Details, because I love you. You don't ask, I don't want details from somebody I don't love. I don't want details from people. Whatever. But the only people you ask details from are people you love. You see the stories that you see the letters that you can understand to the like a budget you saw often love, real love, what love looks like. From a Rebbe. This illustrates, and again, this is not something you necessarily need to call. It's all deduction. It's all observation. This is all our relationship with the Rebbe. So when you learn a harsh sikha, a sikha that's spicy, that the Rebbe came on strong. It's not, the Rebbe is not trying to make like this. The Rebbe is not trying to be brutal. It's a father. Shape up. What's shape up? What does it mean, shape up? For you. The famous line is,
I know someone who wants to know his ringtone is Tamu Keduvai.
Taste,
Not so much.
and you will see that God is good. But if you don't taste, you have COVID, you don't taste, you won't see. I don't see God because you didn't taste God. Of course you don't see God. I'm starving because you didn't eat. You won't be starving.
You can't taste her. For 9 months already.
Time Oro, Kitay Baba, did it. Learn a mimer. Learn a mimer like a mensch. Give it its due time. Give it the time that it earns, that it deserves. The same way we give time to all the other shtusim that we do. The same way we give time to all the frivolousness that we do. We have all the time in the world to learn how to play a new game. We have all the time in the world to watch a video. And we'll hit pause and we'll do something else and we'll come back to it. Because I can't miss one part of the flow of the movie of the dish. I can't miss Chas v'Shalom. People will hold them from going to the bathroom in the middle of a movie because Chas v'Shalom is the mitzvah. So you do that when you're in there. You go to the bathroom. I'm done. My final thoughts, Chevra, the Rebbe loves us. The Rebbe gave us Kol HaShaloi and more. Kol HaShaloi was 3,500 years ago. That was Kol HaShaloi. Today we're much more. Much more. The Rebbe gave us everything. The Rebbe gave us 42 years of Basi Lagani. And all, obviously, everything else. Out of love, out of hope that you swallow something. You know what I mean? The famous example with the crown of the king, the jewel of the king, that in one drop, you know how many drops they ever gave us? When somebody left it with somebody, never saw it, never heard about it. No, you don't know about water. You know puddle. You use a puddle in front of me. And you go to somebody with a cup like this. You go to somebody with a cup like this with salt water. This is the ocean. This is what the ocean is. Did you illustrate what the ocean is? Does that person now know what the ocean is? You didn't touch the surface of the surface of the surface of what the ocean is. So, but when you look at this and you say this is the ocean, that's what looking at the way most of the time, our approach to Chassidus, to the Rebbe, davening for 5 minutes. That's Chassidus, that's the Rebbe, that's Yiddishkeit. Of course it is. But this is also the ocean. This is the ocean. Compared to the ocean, garden. So you 5 seconds of devotion to God, to Rebbe, whatever. That's every second in Yiddishkeit is a million years, but that's devotion. That's connection. If you gave 2 of these cups to the Rebbe, you would appreciate the Rebbe more than you appreciate this. Or Netflix, whatever. You start the day. Again, that's my favorite. A lot of favorites, but one of my favorite things is the day of Yud Shevat, Friday night. Is the way that started. Besides that, ever cried throughout the whole night. You could hear it. The way that it started. It was like everybody knew. Somewhat. Everybody knew what's happening yesterday. The Rebbe still found a way how to make it, to get your Etzem and Nefesh connected to the Etzem of the Rebbe, connected to the Etzem of David. Like he didn't start it like with a nigga and nothing, no. But when you hear that, oh my gosh, chills, like nothing else, like nothing. I didn't feel like this when I was 20. Trust me. Give me Disney, give me the Yankees. But open your eyes. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Because I never loves us and never gives us all Hashem every single thing we got out of here. You made it back.
So I was able to get a smile from the Rebbe. When I was when I started praying, my brother told me to go to the and he noticed that I was taking the house from the Rebbe's head. And the Rebbe smile.
Oh, wow. What year was that? What year? 89, What?
No, I think it was
That's a nice picture. That's a nice picture. No.
Thank you so much. Everything's
And I want to add a few things to it. First of all,
this is don't speak Spanish.
Okay. What's your name? I forgot your name. Monica what? And I know you from before.
From downtown, when you had the shop downtown, I knew your mother. She's like, whoa, years ago.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
And you live here in this community?
No,
Miami Beach. What brings you here?
Here you go.
you know what? I went to come to the Farbrengen. So I just decided that to I don't know.
Stay here, listen to them.
They still Farbrengen?
What? I didn't come to tell you stories.
Hold on. Which one is it? You spoke bang on it?
Yeah,
Remember get that much
right.
Hi.
The Rebbe always spoke, and this is very important to mention right now. Means the main thing is the action. So, of course, everything you could talk for, hours and bring and teach, but it has to come down to practicality, action. So, since we're all here together, whoever's left, whoever stayed, so there were more people here, but whoever's here now, with what, practically speaking, what do we walk away from this fabric? Tomorrow morning, tonight, or tomorrow by day, what am I going to do different? Monica, what's your Jewish name? Malka. You drove here for an hour from Miami Beach, and you came just for Farbrengen. I drove a half hour. It's also a long time. Each way, half hour. You live here, right? You live close by. Right. So what? So if you put in so much effort, either you drove a long time, or even if you didn't, the fact is that you're sitting here, you're giving up time that you could stay home or whatever, and you came here. So what is the Maisa Huayikir? With what are we leaving here from this Farbrengen? What's the point, man? What's the practical? What are we gonna do? So that I can't talk for each person because everyone you have to realize yourself that you're here for a long time, right? And it means you're sincere. You're absorbing. You want to hear. You want to connect. What is it that you could do? The Rebbe, he's speaking to the Rebbe. Of course, the Rebbe wants every single person to make a difference. You need to make a difference. If Hashem didn't think that you could make a difference, He would have created you. All of us. And you and me and every one of us. That's the first thing got to put on the table now. That's one of the things that we have to talk about. Second thing that the Rebbe explains, and the Chassidim like to talk about this, that even though the Rebbe said about the Frierdiker Rebbe, even though there were many people who were born after the Frierdiker Rebbe passed away, they never saw him before. Many people over here never saw the Rebbe, never saw the previous Rebbe. Hashem, it says tzaddikim are like the image of Hashem, and they have the power of Hashem in a sense. So since Hashem doesn't have limitations, the tzaddikim don't have limitations. So even though we're sitting here in Aventura, Maya, Florida, and it's 2022, and what's going on in the whole world's going upside down. Where's Hashem, and where's the Rebbe, where's the previous Rebbe, where's the Baal Shem Tov, and where am I? Where do I come into the whole picture? Yeah, that's what you think. Hashem says you're important. You're right in the center. How could you be in the center if I'm in the center? Hashem makes it. We're all in the same. We're all in the big circle. And this point is connected with the previous. So there's a lot of people who sit here like Hasidim, like Rebbe.
Somebody that sat in the shit before now.
Farbrengen, the Rebbe. But I never saw the Rebbe. I did, but I'm saying some people left. So
I did. I was there.
So what's my connection? Yeah? The answer is that on a spiritual level, what's your name?
Yoni Brachio.
Huh?
Yoni Brachio.
Yoni, you and every single one of us here, this fellow over here, I see him sitting, he didn't move for 2 hours. Ron didn't move for 2 hours. He didn't move. Why? Because he has respect. He understands this is important. So on a spiritual level, Ron, every one of us has a connection with Hashem. 100%, 1,000,000%. And also because the Rebbe is like the Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu is in every generation. That's the test in the middle. So Moshe Rabbeinu loves every Jew. So if he didn't talk to Moshe Rabbeinu today, you don't have to talk to him. You don't have to see him with your physical eyes. It's enough that he sees you. You don't have to see him. He sees you. He knows who you are. And Hashem is with us and is guiding us and giving us the strength. Now, how, again, what are we going to walk away with? Practically, then I'll leave to this tzaddik. I don't know his name, but I know he's a happy. Avi is assistant over here to Rabbi Kiefman, right? Delkin. The first hustle with it, but you trust. I remember the whole person. Yeah.
The point is that Avi is assistant of everyone in this community.
So we love Avi, and it's very important here. He makes everyone feel welcome. The Freilich Yid is happy. You told me last time, I forgot. I didn't forget your face and your energy. It's like, yes, tremendous. So Avi, we're very happy that you're here. And because of you, all these youth stay here. I see Rabbi Kiva went flying. And you're here. You wanted me to stay. So your honor, I stay.
Just walking in.
He has the kids.
Walking. The valley. No. I should be walking the short. You're right.
So, I was saying, what's the mechane? What's the nice of the coil? This whole Farbrengen. So we're going to start here with our tzaddik that we're happy. You're going to make a closer, something, say something. You're going to do something special, not in the Yud Shevat. Okay, you don't have to say right now. You should have the idea. I think the idea is every day before you start davening, just take 2 minutes. Think, serious, think. A minute, 2. But you got to start right away. Like, after this, think of what to say. You learn, either you learn it, even if you learn it, you still have to think about it. Take a minute to think. It's boiliness.
Don't ask all they got lots of. And he gave back an idea. Before you happen, before shock is everything. Yeah.
For Shabbos, you think a minute or two, that's regardless, if I learn something out without I stick to the spoiliness. But I have no time to do anything.
L'chaim! L'chaim, all the time!
We have a whole oil over here and they're thirsty for Torah of course.
It's a good thing you still.
You also want your family.
What is one place? This family shul. The rabbi is that way.
Yeah, you just came yesterday.
A week ago. Yeah. A week.
Yeah, it's exactly 1 week. Like a brother. But the name brother.
And I wanted to get to know you. All these beautiful.
You want an introduction?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Mayor.
This is Daniel. Eli by Rabbi Eli Rosenfeld.
I could talk for myself.
Yeah, talk to us. Yeah.
You have 30
So
seconds.
who are you? Who are you to us? Who are you?
This is Rabbi
Doesn't
Goldstein.
matter. Doesn't matter. I live in the community. I'm a community. I'm a Jew, just like you.
Sure.
Okay?
Maybe
I've
better.
been to Israel. And I'm okay.
He was in the desert 40 years.
Okay? That's it. So don't please. Okay? I'm not going like you are.
Oh.
Anyway.
Oh, like the Mohammed said. I'm going.
Well, I forgive you. I forgive you.
Okay, you want, we can start over there.
I just want you to know that I am Daniel, okay, from Israel.
That's it.
Baruch Hashem, and I'm a Jew better than you.
Whoa!
Better than you.
That's arrogance.
You know who he is? Did I say it better? You know who you are? Anyway, next.
Mayor, Eva, and who else?
Rabbi Moti. Who you got? You better? No, it's fine. That's Moti Lucky. That's Alfred Perez. That's Mayor. Mayor, what's your last name? Check it out. Let's Mayor check out White Messenger. Mr. Sarah. Yes, Daniel's wife, I think. Whichever brother. That's
Wife
my
of
wife.
Daniel.
Hold. Go through
No,
me.
listen, no.
No.
The wife of Yahweh himself.
No.
This is the kind of women that you
Yeah. Yeah, you understand? Español, si quieres
My
español,
wife-
no problema. Yo hablo español.
Otherwise, we don't know what.
What
is that? You got the next thing for the woman now.
My wife.
What is that wife say?
Listen.
Coño! What is it? Ya habla español. ¿Qué es eso? Es ya fuera de aquí. Habla español.
Somos amigos.
Amigos, sí.
Amigos.
Best amigo.
I'm saying. Best friends.
Todo aquí, best friends. ¿Lo comprende? Perfecto.
Well, Carol no vino a hablar.
How long you live here now?
Hold on.
No, here.
No. I.
Okay, well, Carol no vino a hablar.
This is your camera, you live with them.
Here, Rabbi and Link,
I'm here almost 7 years now. 87 years. And then in English they say stop, and in English they say your name.
What's to do?
One's a man, one's a dolphin. Rabbi, dolphin like dolphin? Dolphin, not dolphin. Why is dolphin dolphin?
You said it right, you heard it wrong.
Dolphin.
Spanish accent.
I'm making sense.
I said already.
No, Rabbi, come on.
The Rebbe says you
Are you
should say
driving?
1-4.
Go.
39.
Like 20, yeah.
I speak what do you want
The people who came from very far, they said, Rabbi.
Where do you come from? Where do you come from?
Hey, Rob, where do you live? Hey, Rob, where do you live? There we go.
This year? Where do you live?
I live around the corner here. Ron lives in Alisera. Actual client lives in
Everything from Farbrengen is out.
Young. Yeah.
You're in the big schools.
This is best.
Sit, going.
I'll be right back. Make sure I come back. You're still in. Do it fast. I see on his face that
When you sit with an apostle that likes to sing and naked and wants to proclaim, then it inspires, so then you stay. But someone was mashpia on you, you have the fire in you. First of all, the fact that you're not running. A lot of people, they have pins in their tushy. They can't sit still. They're running, they're coming, they're going. I don't know why. Maybe they're very busy. I don't know. It's 9 o'clock at night. There's no reason. No. Unless you're bored. If you're bored, you want to go somewhere. If you stay another half hour, what's going to happen?
I don't know. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let me do some simple.
Wait a minute. So, I want to say, who was your mashpia? I wanted to ask you.
Mandel Guerin?
Where?
From Israel, the grandson is Rebbe. No, that is Mandel yeah. And a lot of men
You see, he came back, he learned out, he came back. And that's how he got. See, it's a diamond. Said every My name is Titus I'm not here to bother you.
From the work, my home is Direct City. I don't know.
I don't need to be here. Okay. He says I'm discriminating against them. I'm discriminating against anyone. I'm nice to everyone. Take a pill. I don't come to Farbrengen and have negative. I was once sitting in a shrine and a guy cursed me. It's you have to have trouble. You have to have someone is not don't spoil everyone else. There's a few hidden here. The one that happened right not good.
What happens when we drink?
They get drunk, they get This card.
No, I just.
I also sometimes
I don't usually call that one. I usually like.
And then
that states that he was the most honest person.
Like deals that are also close. He says use and good cars.
They're awesome. But I know. You are
one person. Be honest in business. And you just want to stop the car. You don't care what you're telling. And you would tell people, no, this car don't buy, that car don't buy. This car can this community. Oh, that's good. There's a lot of fire. Now, I'm focusing on having
Big place. They have.
Yeshiva, 6 months. You know, change a little bit.